Welcome back, fingerstyle players. I am sitting here once again in the limelight. Well, not really the limelight, just some camera lighting and room lighting here. But this week's topic is a bit touchy for some people, and I've never really understood why, but it's something that has irked me in the past, and I just want to touch on it. It seemed I'm not really, I don't get into like an extreme end of the spectrum either way on this topic. I'm not an extremist when it comes to this subject, so bear with me here. But there are players out there. Most musicians seem to be all black or all white on this topic, or maybe there's a huge middle ground somewhere. I don't know. But I just wanted to lightly touch on this, and this video is entitled "Does Music Theory Hamper Your Creativity?" And so to answer that question, I kind of want to put you back in my past a little bit. In high school, or no, before high school, I started learning to read music and getting introduced to theory at around age 13, junior high. And at that point, I was playing percussion, just strictly. I was playing snare drum, chimes, timpani, bells in the middle school band. And I was really reading note values and rhythms, and I got introduced to how those parts worked and how they all interacted with each other. And that was a cool thing, definitely. But by the time I hit high school, I was taking classical and jazz lessons on guitar, and that led to reading the notes on a staff in a melodic way and knowing where the notes were on my fretboard in relation to what was going on the staff. I took a music theory high school course, and it was all geared toward piano and not my guitar. So that kind of left my mouth a little dry. But I kept on trucking. I pursued a week-long workshop at Berklee College of Music in Boston when I was about 20 years old, and man, that really set me on fire. That was just like a whole semester's worth of information in 1 week. It was really intense. It was probably one of the greatest weeks of my life, studying with some of those Berklee professors. And I started learning modes, scales, and harmonic minors, and all kinds of things that related to what I was playing at the time, which was jazz. And I really learned how to implement, to play over changes and in modes and use my ear to know what different things sounded like, until I got into fingerstyle. And then I just completely abandoned all that. When I got into fingerstyle, I was like the opposite. I went to the opposite end of the spectrum. This was in my past. So I went to the opposite end of the spectrum when I plunged into fingerstyle. I totally abandoned music theory, anything I knew about it, and for years all I did was just rely on my intuition and my ear. Now, was that a bad thing? No, but somewhere along the way I began to notice blind spots in my musical knowledge. And when you're playing fingerstyle, you're kind of composing on your own, you're doing a lot of things on your own, and you're not really aware that maybe a lot of your songs are starting to get a bit of what you call sameness. They're kind of starting to sound the same. Same chord voicings are using over and over again. Same harmonic movements. All of that, gets incorporated over time if you're not really constantly learning and studying from other sources. And that's very important if you're playing any instrument or any style really, but especially fingerstyle. It's a very advanced. A lot of the harmonies that are played in fingerstyle, the most advanced ones are coming from piano and other instruments, like Pierre Ben-Suzanne taught me. So all of that together, I started noticing that, hey, I got some blind spots in my playing. So I started to open the theory books again. I started studying theory again. But the thing is, if you're doing that, you really need to know why you're doing it. Because if you're just studying, memorizing notes on your fretboard, and memorizing scales and modes, if you don't have any reason why you're going to implement that stuff, and you're just doing it just to have the knowledge, then you're going to forget about it. It's going to get old. It's going to get boring, and you're just not going to feel. It's not going to feel natural. So how to get past that? I started listening to all these 60s and 70s singer-songwriters like Joni Mitchell and Nick Drake, and really started to get into that stuff and noticed how unpredictable their chord changes were and their songwriting was, and just how unique a lot of that stuff was. And then I got inspired by that. And then little by little, I began to realize that, hey, maybe there's a way to communicate that stuff. And if you want to incorporate those kind of unpredictable chord changes into your playing, and you want to communicate it and write tab and write the music out, well, you're gonna have to brush up on your theory, and you really have to brush up on your note values. So that's exactly what I began doing, and I feel a lot better about it now. When I compose a song, it's still intuition, you know. I do it from a different angle now. It's not all about, oh, well, let's see what this dadgad tuning can do for me. It's really more about hearing something in my head and getting inspired from music from different sources. It could be a piano, it could be a different percussion instrument, and then from that, I hear a melody, and when I compose it, I hear it in my head, and then maybe I can also see it on the page. And if I can see it on the page, I can tab it out or write the music out. And that kind of gives me an all-around, just full tapestry of what's really going on with me as a musician and in my head. It all works together in the end. So if you're the kind of so does music theory really hamper your creativity? And my answer is no, of course it doesn't. But it all depends on what your goals are. Like, for example, if you're a punk musician, music theory probably isn't going to help you that much. It could, it's no harm in it, but that's not really what drives punk. Punk music is about lyrics, attitude, and writing a great hook. Theory probably won't help you write a hit song. No. So, what is it for? It's all about communication. Music theory is a communication tool. For example, if you're going to write music for orchestras, you need to know theory forwards and backwards. If you're playing in an ensemble, you need to know how to sight read your butt off. If you're a session musician, you need to know how to sight read forwards and backwards and probably improvise and throw different ideas in there. It all depends on what your goals are, what area of the music industry you're going into, if you want to know music theory. And of course it doesn't hamper your creativity. In fact, I've heard a lot of musicians say it actually stimulates their creativity, because once you understand how harmonic movements work and counterpoint and all that, you don't have to master any of this stuff. All you need to do is maybe even know just a little, and a little knowledge can go a long way. And I think that's really the key point here. A little knowledge can do a lot for you and open up different avenues. And that's what it's really all about in the end. It's not about whether it hampers your creativity or not. I mean, if that was really the case, don't you think people like Beethoven and Mozart and Stravinsky would have been creatively stifled if music theory really held them back? I don't think that's the case, obviously. Those guys had to write no counterpoint and master that stuff forwards and backwards, and they were some of the greatest musical geniuses that we know in history. So why would that hold them back, and why would it need to hold you back if that's really what your goals are? So I guess that's my take on it, and thank you for listening to me get that off my chest. So really, knowledge is power, and it's all up to you about how you want to harness it. Until next time.